Good morning, Prakruti. Am I audible? Audible, right? Okay. Good morning, everyone. So before we start the next chapter, some few questions are still pending from Transcend Material, chapter 4, question number 58. Though it is actually chapter 5, chapter 4 and chapter 5 are both related to magnetism, right? So I have clubbed them together in this chapter 4. All questions from both the chapters are there. So please take out your Transcend Material. Chapter 4, you see, question number 58. 58 onwards, it belongs to magnetism and matter chapter. So let us quickly solve this question so that we can start the next chapter. Okay, please get your material. Question number 58. So if you see the question, it is saying a bar magnet of length L and magnetic dipole moment capital M is bent in the form of an arc as shown in the figure. The new magnetic dipole moment will be. So initially your bar magnet is like this. Okay. Then they are making it into a arc. They are converting this into a arc. It should be slightly longer, right? This angle is given from the center. The angle subtended by the arc at the center is given 60 degree. This is given R, this is given R. So they are asking if this has length, if this has magnetic moment M, what will be magnetic moment of this one? Now, since it is a bar magnet, what is the formula for bar magnet magnetic moment? Magnetic charge into length. This is the length. Right? So initially this was your magnetic moment. For bar magnet, please use this formula. This is called pole strength. Pole strength. Now, when you convert this into arc, the distance between the north pole and the south pole will be this now. Right? Can you guess how much will be this? If this is R, this is R, this is 60 degree, what should be this distance? If this is R, this is R, it will be isosceles triangle. Yeah, very good. So it will be also R. Okay. What if it was not 60 degree, but suppose it was not 60 degree, suppose it was 30 degree. Suppose it was, let's say, 30 degree. Then you have to 30, if it is 30 degree, then you have to drop this perpendicular, then find this distance. That will be your R, this is hypotenuse, so this will be R sine 15 degree, and this will be your R sine 15 degree. Okay, students, so be careful about that. If it may not be 60 degree all the time, it may be 30 degree or some other angle. 90 degree also it can be. So then what you do, you bisect this angle, then this will be 15 degree, this will be 15 degree. Then in this right angle triangle, try to find this one. That will be your opposite side. So opposite side is always hypotenuse into sine of this angle. Okay, is the video clear for everyone? Okay. So here in this distance will be directly R. Okay. So you know this distance is R. So new magnetic moment will be what? Pole strength will be same. Whatever is the pole strength of this one, this will be same only, right? Because the end remains the same. Since the end remains the same, pole strength will be same. But now what is the distance between the two poles? It is R. Now how do I write this one in terms of this? For that you have to try to find relation between this R and this L. Now look here. This rod whose length is L, that one only we have made like this. So this length should be L only. Agree or not? If this is L, I have converted this into arc. So length of the arc should be L only. Now, how do you write length of the arc? Length of the arc, how do you write in terms of angle? It is angle times radius. Angle times radius, and angle is 60 degree. But don't write 60 degree. We have to use SI units. So angle will be pi by 3. 60 degree means pi by 3. So R can be written from here. R can be written as 3L by pi. So if you substitute here, it will be 3L by pi. Right? So now if you compare with the initial magnetic moment, how much it will be? 3 by pi into QML. QML is the initial magnetic moment. So which option? 3 by pi m. Which option it is, students? Option B. Okay. So I hope all of you understood. Whenever you want magnetic moment of a magnet, multiply the magnetic charge with the distance between the poles. So distance between the poles will be R. Then try to find relation between this R and this length. How to find? Once you do like this, it will become a arc. And I hope everybody knows arc is equals to angle times radius. Okay. See the next question. Tejaswini, is it better now? Tejaswini, is the video better? Okay. Question number 59, very simple. Two magnets of equal magnetic moment are placed as shown in the figure. What is the resultant magnetic moment? So you just have to use vectors here because magnetic moment is a vector quantity. So one magnet is given like this. One magnet is given like this. Both of them have equal magnetic moment. But be careful, where is the south pole and where is the north pole? That you have to check carefully. Why, sir? Magnetic moment is directed from south pole to north pole of the magnet. Just like electric dipole moment we used to take from minus Q to plus Q. So this is south, this is north. Here, this is north, this is south. So magnetic moment of this will be this side. And magnetic moment of this will be this side. Right? So you can see one magnetic moment is this side. One magnetic moment is this side. Yes or no? So this angle will be how much? This is given 60 degree. So if this is 60 degree, this angle will be how much? 120 degree. Right? This angle. You extend the direction of this vector, then this angle will be 120 degree. Okay or not? So be careful about where is the magnetic moment. Magnetic moment in the question, they have shown the diagram in such a way. South pole of this magnet is here, north pole is here. Here south pole is here, north pole is here. So magnetic moment is from south to north for this magnet, and for this magnet south to north. So angle is 120. So what will be the resultant? If the angle is 120, I hope you remember, it will be same only. Suppose you don't remember, then what will you do? To find magnitude of the resultant, you will use the formula root over magnetic moment of this square plus magnetic moment of this square plus 2 into magnetic moment of both of them into cos 120. Right, students? This is the formula we use to add two vectors. This is the formula we use to find the resultant of two vectors, magnitude. Cos 120, I hope everybody knows, minus half. Cos 120 is minus half. This is cos 120. You can see 2 and 2 will cancel. Minus m square will cancel plus m square. So what will be left? Root over m square. That will be m. So magnetic moment of the resultant will be same as m. Which option? Option A. Try to do this one, all of you. Suppose one magnet is given like this, south north, and one magnet is given like this, south north. This also has magnetic moment m, this also has m. Angle is 60 degree. What will be the resultant? try to do for this. Now you be careful. I have kept south, south at the same point, at the same end. Now it will be root 3m. Root 3m, right? How do you get that? Root over m square plus 2mm. Now the angle is 60 degree. Cos 60 is half, 2 and 2 will cancel. So you will get root 3m. Okay, this is extra, okay? Write down. Done? They may include one more magnet, then no problem. You know how to add 3 vectors also, right? First add 2 vectors, then add with the third vector. Or you can take components of each vector, find the x component of the resultant, find the y component of the resultant, and then find the magnitude. Root over x component square plus y component square. So if they give more than 2 magnets also, you should be able to solve. Let us do next question now. A circular coil of 100 turns and diameter 20, effective diameter 20 centimeter carries a current of 0.5 amperes. You know that current loops like this also behaves like magnet, also behaves like magnetic dipole. It is to be turned in a magnetic field 2 Tesla. So 2 Tesla is your external magnetic field, and they are trying to turn from a position in which theta is equal to 0 to theta is equal to 180 degree. What is the work required in the process? Now here it is not very clearly mentioned what is theta. So please mention in your notes, theta should be angle between magnetic moment and external magnetic field. Okay, so let us first calculate magnetic moment. Current into area we know already, right? This is question number 60. N turns are there, so multiply with n. So n is 100, current is 0.5, area will be pi r square, r is 20 centimeters, so 0.2 square. That will give you 100, 5 by 10. This will be 0.04, so 4 by 100 pi, right? 100, 100 you can cancel. 5 2s are 10, 2 2s are 4, so 2 pi. So magnetic moment is 2 pi. Please don't try to calculate this because answer is in terms of pi. So this is the magnetic moment. Unit if you want to write ampere meter square. Current is ampere, area is meter square. Now how they are trying to rotate, look here. Imagine this is your circular coil carrying current this way. So right now your magnetic moment will be in this direction, right? And they told the initial angle is 0 degree. That means magnetic field external is here. Okay, students. So from this position, when the angle is 0 degree, they are trying to rotate by 180 degree. So they need to rotate this way, and then the coil will be like this now. And here current will be down, here current will be up. So it will be now this side. So magnetic moment will be this side. Magnetic field is here only. So angle is how much? 180 degree. Understood or not? Of course, these diagrams you don't need to solve, but you have to understand, right, what actually they are doing. So they are rotating the coil from this position to this position. When the angle initially was 0 degree, now the angle is 180 degree. So what is the work done they are asking? Work done against what? Against the torque. So what is the work done to rotate a dipole from theta 1 to theta 2? Formula was mb cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. Same formula we have in case of electric dipole also. So magnetic moment is 2 pi. What is the magnetic field they told? 2 Tesla, I think. 2 Tesla. So magnetic field is 2 Tesla. Initial angle was 0. Final angle is 180 degree. Cos 180 is minus 1. Minus minus will become plus. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. So 8 pi joules. 8 pi joules, right? Which option? Option D. Any mistake? Just check once. While calculating magnetic moment, did I do any mistake? Okay. They have given diameter as 20 centimeter. Correct. So whatever I did is correct if the radius was 20 centimeter. Here diameter was 20 centimeter. So do one thing. This one you keep it like this only and write for radius 20 centimeter. Now what you have to do, repeat the same problem for radius. How much you should take? Anybody? For solving the question in the material, what radius you should choose? 10 centimeter. So take 10 centimeter and solve the same problem. Okay, students, I will not repeat because the same thing only. So this is for radius equals to 20 centimeter. But in the question they told diameter is 20 centimeters. So you see, while reading and while substituting, if you don't do it properly, you will get wrong answers. And see, one of the option is matching also. So if this happens in exam, you will feel very happy that yes, your answer is matching with one of the correct option. So such silly mistakes you should not do. The mistake may be silly, but it will cost you around 1000 rank. What answer will you get if the radius is 10 centimeter? If the radius is 10 centimeter, which option will you get? 2 pi you will get, right? Okay. Question number 61, you see. A magnetic needle lying parallel to magnetic field. So magnetic needle means again you have to go to magnet. So imagine this is a magnet which usually they will keep it like this. This will be north, this will be south. Right? So they can carve this into this. Okay, so there is a magnetic needle lying parallel to magnetic field. So right now it is parallel to magnetic field. So let me draw this way only. Please understand this is nothing but a magnet with south pole and north pole. Units requires work, W units of work to turn it through 60 degree. So to turn this by 60 degree, to turn this needle or magnet by 60 degree, W amount of work is done, they are saying. So what is the formula again? From theta 1 to theta 2, mb cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. So here we are trying to rotate from 0 degree to 60 degree, right? Initially it was at 0 degree, now it is at 60 degree with the magnetic field. So mb cos 0 minus cos 60. That will be mb divided by 2. And that they have told that work done is W. So this is your equation 1. Let's see what they are asking. The torque required to maintain the needle in this position. Now, in this position, if you want to keep the needle, then you will have to apply a torque. Otherwise, this magnetic field, what it will do? It will apply a torque and bring the needle back to its position, right? So the torque required will be mb sin theta. This is the formula for torque required. So m is your magnetic moment, magnetic field is B. At which position they told? At this position they told. At this position, what is the angle? 60 degree. Now MB from equation 1, if you substitute, because the answer is in terms of W. So MB will be what? Twice of W, and sine 60 is root 3 by 2. So answer will be root 3 W. Answer will be root 3 W. So this much torque will act on this dipole once you keep it at 60 degree. When it was parallel to magnetic field, torque was 0, remember. That is why it is called stable equilibrium. Once you rotate it, it will experience a torque. How much torque? This much. That means if somebody wants to keep the needle at that position, you will have to fight with that torque. So you will also have to apply this much torque. Of course, in opposite direction. Matlab, this magnetic field will try to create this kind of torque, right? You will have to apply this kind of torque. Equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Done? Very good question, this one, because it will test two formulas. It will test whether you know formula for work done to rotate a dipole, and it will also test whether you know the formula for torque. Done, students? Okay. Some construction work is going outside, students. So little bit of noise is there. I'm really sorry, I cannot help with that. Now look here. To solve some remaining 2-3 questions, we need to remember the formula for magnetic field produced by a bar magnet. For that, you don't need to remember any new formula. Just remember the formula for electric field produced by electric dipole, because magnets are nothing but magnetic dipole. So let's say this is south, this is north. So at a distance r, if you want magnetic field at axial point, the formula was mu naught by 4 pi 2m by r cube. 2m by r cube. Of course, when I write this formula, this r should be much greater than the length of the dipole. So if the length of the magnet is 1 centimeter and this is around 20 centimeter, 30 centimeter, you can consider it as large only. So you can use approximately this formula. If you use the exact formula also, students, the moment this is 10 times greater also, the moment this is 10 times greater than this formula will give you almost the right answer. So that's why try to remember this formula. Now, can you tell me direction? Direction, it is axial point. So in this figure, will it be towards right or left? In this figure, will it be towards right or left? Last video, if you have seen recorded video, I have explained this very nicely. At axial point, where will be magnetic field? In this diagram, it will be right or left? It will be left. Huh? Okay. So let us revise this once. If you take electric dipole, and I want electric field at this point, the plus charge will produce electric field away. The minus charge will produce electric field towards. Yeah. So here, electric field produced by plus charge will be more. So electric field will be this way. So sorry, this is plus, no? So electric field produced by plus charge will be away from the plus charge. And since this point is nearer to the plus charge, this electric field will be stronger than the electric field produced by minus q. Minus q will produce towards. But this is nearer, so this electric field will be stronger than this electric field. So total will be this side. Now dipole moment is from where to where? Minus q to plus q. So electric field at axial point is always in the direction of dipole moment. So magnetic field here, where is the magnetic moment? Magnetic moment for a bar magnet we take from south to north, because south acts like minus magnetic charge, north acts like plus magnetic charge. So magnetic field at axial point will be in the same direction as the magnetic moment, which is towards the right side. Towards the right side. Everybody understood this? Because last recorded video I have solved one question I remember based on this. So it is towards right or left. It is towards right. It is always in the direction of magnetic moment. Similarly, if I want at equatorial point, magnetic field formula at a distance r is half of this, mu naught by 4 pi m by r cube. And direction, if you remember, at equatorial point is opposite to magnetic moment. So magnetic moment is this side. So magnetic field will be this side. So this you have to remember, students, otherwise no, problem solving will be difficult. For example, here suppose I want electric field. Due to minus q it will be towards. Due to plus q it will be away. So total will be this side. Yes or no? This plus this will be this side. So you can see at equatorial point, your electric field produced by the dipole is opposite to dipole moment. Same technique you have to apply here. So Tanuj is right. I hope others also understood. Okay, let us see the next question now. Two identical magnetic dipoles of magnetic moment 1 ampere meter square. So they are identical dipoles, matlab magnets, and each one of them has magnetic moment 1 ampere meter square. Each placed at a separation of 2 meters with their axis perpendicular to each other. So one bar magnet is kept like this and another is kept like this. Okay, so after reading the question, you should be able to draw the diagram. North and south you can write wherever you want because they have not mentioned. So let me put wherever I want, but the axis of this magnet should be perpendicular to this magnet. That is what they have told. And this separation is 2 meters. Now they want resultant magnetic field at a point midway. Midway means here. So this is your observation point. So two magnets are there. So two magnetic fields will be there. But be careful. For this dipole, this point is where? Axial point. Yes or no? Axial for this magnet. So for this magnet, this point is on the axial line. So magnetic field will be in the direction of magnetic moment. For this magnetic moment is from south to north. So magnetic field will be this way. So this will be your BA due to this one. Similarly, magnetic field here due to this. This is having magnetic moment south to north, right? So magnetic field here will be opposite to this because this point is what point for this magnet? For this magnet, this point is equatorial point, equatorial. So magnetic field will be opposite to this. This is due to this magnet. Understood? So let us calculate. Now R means this distance, which is 1 meter. And this R is also 1 meter. Because what is R? Distance of the magnet from the center, from the observation point. Understood? So this is 2 meters. So this is 1 meter. This is 1 meter. So let us calculate BA. Mu naught by 4 pi 2m by r cube. Yeah, let us keep it like this only, no problem. Okay, this is your magnetic field at this point due to this magnet. Now let us calculate magnetic field here due to this magnet. Mu naught by 4 pi m by r cube. Please understand one thing, students. In the question, they told M is same for both of them. Magnetic moment of both of them are same. Therefore, you are allowed to write MM. But this will be twice because it is on axial line. Please remember, if the magnetic moments were different, if one magnet has magnetic moment 1, another one has 2, then you write M1, M2 like that. M1, M2. Now, you can see the direction of these two are perpendicular to each other. So, resultant will be in this direction. So, what will be the resultant? Since it is perpendicular, you can write root over BA square plus BE square. Correct? Substitute this here. Common you take out. What is the common? Mu naught M by 4 pi R cube is common. So, root of here 2 square, here 1 square. So, resultant magnetic moment will come. Let us put values now. So, mu naught by 4 pi is 10 power minus 7. Magnetic moment is 1. R is distance between observation point and the magnet. Since the magnet is short, it doesn't matter which point of the magnet. So, this is 1. So, it will be 1 cube and this will be root 5. This will be root 5, right? So, answer will be root 5 into 10 power minus 7. Which option? Root 5 into 10 power minus 7. Option B. Try the same problem where this has magnetic moment 1, and this has magnetic moment 2, let's say. So if this is 2, this will be 2 here and this will be 1 here. Okay. So you have to understand, this is due to this magnet. This is due to this magnet. Directions I have found by remembering. At axial point, magnetic field is in the direction of dipole moment. At equatorial point for this magnet, this is equatorial point. So magnetic field is opposite to dipole moment. Okay. Done? Done, students? Okay. One JEE problem you see, which is very simple, even NEET people can easily do. In one of the previous JEE problem, they gave like this. One magnet was kept like this and another magnet was kept like this. Okay, this distance was given to be 1 meter. Both of them have magnetic moment. This one is 1 ampere meter square. This one has magnetic moment 2. And their axis was parallel. They want magnetic field at the midpoint. So let me first show you the direction. And they told you the south of the magnet is pointing towards, the south is pointing towards your magnetic north. The south poles are pointing towards magnetic north. Now, before I continue, first you tell me this observation point is at which point for both the dipoles, axial or equatorial. For both the magnets, this point is at axial line or equatorial line. Equatorial line, right? So you find magnetic field due to this one. So magnetic field will be where? Opposite to magnetic moment. Magnetic moment is from south to north. So magnetic field due to this will be here. Opposite to magnetic moment. And magnetic moment of this is also here. So magnetic field due to this will be here only. So B1 and B2 are in the same direction. So B1 will be mu naught by 4 pi M1 by R cube. M1 you have to write. And B2 will be mu naught by 4 pi M2 by R cube. Okay, students. R will be what?
In this problem, R is what? Distance between observation point and the magnet. What is R I should use? 1 meter I should use? R is 0.5 meter. And M1 you have to write this one, M2 you have to write this two. Okay, so try to solve this problem yourself. And this time you will simply add, remember. Why you will simply add? Because these two are in same direction. This time you will simply add because the B1 and B2 are in same direction. So resultant magnetic field, if they ask, will be B1 plus B2. Now actually students, this question was not exactly asked like this. They also gave you, for this question, they also gave you horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Horizontal component, let us say 0.2 into 10 power minus 4 Tesla. So if this is also given, now try to remember, horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field is pointed towards which end on the surface, towards which point it is pointed. Horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field is always pointing towards where? Is it towards east? Is it towards west? Is it towards magnetic north, geographic north? Magnet will point towards geographic north or magnetic north? Magnetic north, right? So if this is also mentioned, then there will be one more BH. So your total will be B1 plus B2 plus BH. Okay, so keep this in mind. They only wanted the total horizontal magnetic field. So you don't have to worry about vertical component. They only wanted total horizontal magnetic field. So these two are produced by the magnets. This is due to Earth's magnetic field, which will be given to you as a constant. And please remember, if declination is not given, declination, what was declination? Angle between geographic meridian and magnetic meridian. If declination is not mentioned, always assume it is 0. Please remember that. If declination is not mentioned in the problem, always assume it is 0, which means your geographic north and your magnetic north can be taken to be the same direction. Because if you remember, if this is your magnetic meridian, if this is your geographic meridian, then this way is your magnetic north, this way is your geographic north, and this angle was called declination, right? If this is not mentioned in the problem, always take it 0. And if this is 0, what does it mean? This direction and this direction will be same. Okay, students, keep in mind. You can write down, if declination is not mentioned, the direction of magnetic north and geographic north will be same. Okay, let us see next question now. (63) is similar to this. Please give a try yourself. Let us do 64. 64 is more challenging. 63 is similar to the question which we have just solved. So try to solve it. 64, you see. Two short magnets of equal dipole moment are fastened perpendicular at their center. So they have two magnets like this. North pole is here, south pole is here, and one more magnet is kept perpendicular. South pole is here, north pole is here, and this is fastened. So they are fixed, but they are perpendicular. Okay. They want what? The magnitude of magnetic field at a distance d from the center on the bisector of the right angle. On the bisector means this is the right angle.
On the bisector means on this plane. Like this. You have to bisect this 90 degree, and somewhere here they are asking.
Is it correct? Yes.
This distance is given d,
Which is your R actually. In the question they have given D. Now, can I say this point is equatorial point of this magnet or this magnet? Just say yes or no. Can I say this point is equatorial point for this magnet or for this magnet? No, this is on the plane. This is on the plane. No, you have to understand, students. These are the two magnets. We are asking magnetic field here only. Not here. So this point is not equatorial point for this magnet. Is it axial point? Is it axial point? It is not axial point also. So here it has become difficult for us to find the magnetic field, because this point, of course, see, some of you told yes, no. What you thought is this point is here. If this point was here, then it is equatorial point for both of them. If the point was here, are you understanding or not? But the point is on the plane. Understood? So this point is neither axial point nor equatorial point. So it became slightly difficult for us to solve. What we will do in that case is this. Look here. Let us see where is the magnetic moment of this magnet. It will be this way. M, because they told identical, so both will have same magnetic moment. So south to north, and this will be also south to north. M. So what we will do, we will try to find the resultant magnetic moment of these two. So resultant magnetic moment will be root over m square plus m square. It will be root 2m. So this will be the resultant magnetic moment of these two magnets. And where will be the direction of the resultant magnetic moment? Since the magnetic moments are equal, resultant will be here. So what basically I can do is I can replace these two magnets by one magnet, whose magnetic moment will be this one. Why? Because this is the resultant of this and this. So since this is the resultant of this magnet's magnetic moment and this magnet's magnetic moment, this is the resultant, I can replace these two magnets by one magnet in this direction. Now you tell me, for this magnetic moment, for this resultant magnetic moment, this point is where? Axial, equatorial, or none of them? For this resultant magnetic moment, this point is in the axial line. Very good. So thus we can write, for the resultant magnetic moment, the given point is on the axial line. Since it is on the axial line, let us use the formula for axial. Mu naught by 4 pi to m, but that m I should write, remember, mr, because it is for resultant magnetic moment divided by r cube. So here this will be mu naught by 4 pi to mr is what? Root 2m divided by r. R is distance from the center of the magnet to the observation point, which they have given you d. So d cube. Okay, which option? Mu naught by 4 pi 2 root 2 m by d cube. Option C. So this way, if you solve, the problem will be much easier than to find magnetic field due to individual magnets. Because for individually, if you see, for this magnet, this point is neither axial point nor equatorial point. So you can't use the formulas which you know. So therefore, what I did, I converted these two magnets into one magnet by finding its resultant magnetic moment. And I hope all of you know, if two vectors have equal magnitude in perpendicular direction, resultant will always bisect the angle. So resultant magnetic moment will be here. Done? Okay, try to remember now what is the formula for potential energy of a dipole. All these formulas I have given already. Potential energy of a dipole. When I say dipole, you can consider it either as a current loop or as a magnet. So potential or energy of a dipole in a external magnetic field. Anyone remembers? If yes, please mention. You can compare it with potential energy of electric dipole. You must have studied that formula. Minus mb, not sine theta prakruti, minus mb cos theta. Minus mb cos theta. Okay, so this is the formula for potential energy of a dipole in a external magnetic field B. You need to remember this. Now look here. Suppose I have a marker here at some height. You all know it has gravitational potential energy. Some gravitational potential energy. When I release it, that potential energy gets converted to what? That potential energy gets converted to kinetic energy. So whatever potential energy is lost, that will go into the kinetic energy gained. Matlab potential energy lost will be equal to kinetic energy gained if there is no air resistance. Otherwise, if there is air resistance, some amount of heat also will be produced, right? So please keep those things in your mind. Now, see the next question. A bar magnet with magnetic moment 2 ampere meter square is free to rotate about a vertical axis. Matlab it is rotating horizontally. If it rotates horizontally, axis will be vertical, right? So the magnet is free to rotate horizontally about which axis? Vertical axis. Passing through its center. The magnet is released from east-west position. So let us say this is your east, this is your west. Then this will be your north, this will be your south. Correct now? So the magnet is released from this position. Let's say this is south, this is north. It is released. Will it stay here only? Let us see what they want. Kinetic energy of the magnet as it takes north-south position. Now in brackets, see what they have given. Horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field is given 25 microtesla. Now students listen carefully. In this problem, did they mention what is the declination in the given place? Did they mention declination? If you read the question once. They have not mentioned the declination. So if they don't mention the declination, you can assume it is 0 degree, which means your magnetic north and geographic north. This is when they don't mention, if they simply say north, no, it always means geographic north. So in this problem, you can consider this to be also magnetic north. That is important because once you know where is magnetic north, you know your horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field will be in this direction. So this is your horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. Right, students? And where is your dipole moment? This way, south to north. So you can clearly see this dipole, the moment you leave, it will experience a torque m cross b this way.
So ultimately what will happen? The dipole will rotate and it will come in this direction. Okay, the dipole will rotate and it will come in this direction. When it comes in this direction, they are asking what will be its kinetic energy. What will be its kinetic energy? So what we have to do here is use the concept of conservation of energy. When the dipole was here, it has some potential energy. How much? Minus mb cos theta. Right? Minus mb cos theta. So what is the potential energy? U is equals to minus m is how much? M is m, b is bh. What is theta? What is theta in this configuration? What is theta in this configuration? Quickly, we don't have time. 90 degree. So potential energy here is 0. Potential energy here is 0. When it reaches this position, let us write this is U1. When it reaches this position, what is the potential energy? Minus mb cos theta. So minus mb. Now what is the angle? When it reaches east-west position. Sorry, from east-west when it reaches north-south position. When the dipole turns here. This is your north-south. So angle will be cos of 0. So minus mb. So you can clearly see, students, from here to here, it has lost potential energy or gained potential energy. From here to here, it has lost potential energy or gained. Remember, this is 0, this is minus. So it has lost. So potential energy lost should be equal to kinetic energy gained. Or you can say, whatever kinetic energy is here, let us write K1. And whatever kinetic energy here, let us write K2. Then from conservation of energy, I can write kinetic energy plus potential energy in this position should be equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy in this position. Now here it was released, remember, it was released. So if you release something, if you release it, kinetic energy will always be 0. And here potential energy was also 0. When it reaches here, it is rotating. No, it is rotating. So when it reaches here, it will have some kinetic energy. K2 plus. What will be potential energy when it reaches here? Minus mb. Since they want this kinetic energy, bring this minus mb this side. So it will be equal to m is given 2, b is given 25 into 10 power minus 6. Micro means 10 power minus 6. So 50 microjoules. Which option? 50 microjoules. Option B, okay? So please understand, the dipole is here. The dipole never wants to stay here. Always dipoles wants to be parallel to magnetic field, we all know. So this dipole or this magnet, we are forcing it here right now. We are forcing it to be here. We are holding it. The moment you leave it, you know it will come parallel to north-south direction like this. Then it will, of course, it will continue like this. But when it reaches here, it's like a pendulum. It's like a pendulum which you have released from here. When it reaches the mean position, it will have some kinetic energy, right? So whatever potential energy is lost, that will go into kinetic energy. So you have to remember the formula for potential energy of a dipole. So from here to here, when it comes, it will have some kinetic energy which we have to find. Let me add something here. Let me add something to this question. Okay, addition. If moment of inertia of the magnet is, let's say, 2 kg meter square.
2 kg meter square.
Capital I. What is the angular speed? Angular speed
When it reaches the north-south position.
So when it reaches the north-south position, you know it is rotating.
Since it is rotating, it will have some angular speed. You have found the kinetic energy, and I'm 100% sure everybody remembers in first PU
What is the kinetic energy of rotation? What is the kinetic energy of rotation? Half I omega square.
half I omega square.
So just substitute this kinetic energy from here. Substitute this number here. I have given to you.
You can calculate angular speed also. Okay, students? Write down this extra addition also. 66 I have done in the recorded video. I will not repeat. 67, let us see. Exact question it is, exact. 67, let us see. Done, students? This extra part also please write. Okay, 67 you see. Relative permittivity and permeability of a material are epsilon r
And mu r. This, if you remember, it is also called
K, dielectric constant. It is also called dielectric constant. Which of the following values of the quantities are allowed for diamagnetic material?
Now for dia,
I hope everyone remembers from our board syllabus only.
that relative permeability is how much? Less than 1.
Relative permeability is less than 1, right? Which options have less than 1? B has less than 1. C has less than 1. In option B, you see the value of relative permeability, mu r, less than 1, 0.5. Option C also 0.5. So out of B and C, which one to choose?
Epsilon r
Is dielectric constant. I hope you remember
it is always greater than 1.
for any material, right? That's why if you remember, capacitance increases. Why capacitance increases when you put dielectric? Because dielectric constant is more than 1. So which option should you tick? You should see the option where relative permittivity is greater than 1, but relative permeability is less than 1.
So option B.
68. In 68, they are asking the coercivity of a small magnet where the ferromagnet gets demagnetized. We already know coercivity was the magnetizing field, the reverse magnetizing field, which is required to demagnetize the material, right?
So here they have given the coercivity to be 3 into 10 power 3 ampere per meter. This is given as coercivity,
which is nothing but the reverse magnetizing field. What was the another name of magnetizing field? Not revising, not studying. What was the other name of what was the other name of magnetizing field? H is Baba. H can be what? Hong Kong also. Magnetic intensity. Shravani, better not to say magnetic field. Okay, only say magnetic intensity. If you say magnetic field, capital B, you may confuse. Okay. So what they are asking, the current required to pass in a solenoid of length 10 centimeter and number of turns 100, so that the magnet gets demagnetized.
We all know formula for H. It is Ni.
Yes or no?
B was mu Ni. H was B by mu. So H is Ni. What is N? Number of turns per unit length.
So you have to divide the number of turns by the length
into current. So current will be HL by N. H is 3 into 10 power 3. Length is given 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter means 0.1 meter. Number of turns is given 100. So with 3 amperes. Right?
69, same question we have done. It is based on Curie's law. So I will not repeat. 70 you see. 69, same question we have done while solving MCQs from our EPL, which I have done as a recorded video. I hope everybody remembers Curie's law. The magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature. Okay, so sometimes they will give you magnetic susceptibility at one temperature. They will ask magnetic susceptibility at another temperature.
That time what will you write? First one by second one will be second temperature by first temperature.
Okay.
And you should also remember magnetic susceptibility is defined as M by H.
So using these two formulas, we have solved that previous question. 70th question you see. The variation of magnetic susceptibility with temperature, absolute temperature for a what substance they are asking? Ferromagnetic substance.
Magnetic susceptibility versus temperature.
Now, if it was paramagnetic, for paramagnetic it is inversely proportional.
So for paramagnetic, the graph will look like this.
What is the name of this graph?
Y proportional to 1 by x.
Y proportional to 1 by x means what kind of graph it is called? Rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola.
But it is not for paramagnetic. It is for ferromagnetic.
So if you remember, for ferromagnetic, I told you, for some temperature,
it will be independent of temperature.
Up to some temperature, magnetic susceptibility will not change with temperature, I told, because of the domains, because of the strong interaction between the dipoles in a given domain. However, if you remember, there was a temperature called critical temperature. Beyond that temperature, all the domains will break down, and then your ferro will behave like what? After you cross critical temperature, very good, Likita, your ferro will become para. Once it becomes para, then you can use Curie's law.
So after that, it will go like this.
So which is the closest graph to this option? Sorry, closest option to this graph? Option A. 71 is basic question, students. N1, N2 and N3 are ferromagnetic, paramagnetic, diamagnetic.
So N1 is ferro, N2 is para, N3 is dia.
A magnet, when brought close to them, when you bring a magnet close to them,
this will be strongly attracted. This will be weakly attracted. And this will be ulta. It will be weakly repelled.
So which option? This is based on whether you know the properties of ferro, para and dia. Option B. The materials suitable for making, I know this one we had lot of debate. The materials suitable for making electromagnets. One is low coercivity, and we can take low retentivity also. So low retentivity and low coercivity. As some of you mentioned, I remember, if retentivity is less, it will be easy to demagnetize. However, I still have my own arguments. Someday, if we get some time to talk freely, I can talk to you about my disagreements. But Let us go with low retentivity and low coercivity. 73 you see now. Two bar magnets. Could you just what is this? Juxtapose. Juxtapose means what, my thesis Vinny? Low retentivity and low coercivity. Low coercivity, if it has low coercivity, it will be the amount of reverse magnetic field required will be less. Oh, acha, aside. Sorry. Two bar magnets having same geometry. Two bar magnets having same geometry means what now? Their length is same, breadth is same, mass, height is same. So length, breadth, height, everything are same. With magnetic moments M and 2M are first placed in such a way that their similar poles are on the same side. So on the first case, the similar poles are on the same side. South, south, north, north. But remember, one has magnetic moment M, other one has magnetic moment 2M. And the period of oscillation is T1. When this will oscillate in a magnetic field, time period is T1, they are saying. Now the polarity of one of the magnet is reversed. Anyone you can reverse. So let us reverse the upper one. So magnetic moment of this will reverse. This will be in the same direction. Now the time period of oscillation is T2. What they want? Then T2 is less than T1, more than T1. Like we have to compare these two time periods. Very simple problem, students. Okay, tell me what is the resultant magnetic moment of the system? M and 2M in the same direction, so 3M. Here, what will be the resultant magnetic moment? 2M and M in opposite direction will be M. Now, what is the formula for time period? 2 pi root over I by MB. Now, they told geometry is same, so moment of inertia will be same. Mass also should have been mentioned same actually. So mass is same, geometry is same, moment of inertia same. And I hope they have not mentioned clearly, but both of them are oscillating in the same magnetic field. So magnetic field is also same. Then it is very clear time period is inversely proportional to root of magnetic moment. So in the first case divided by second case will be root of second magnetic moment divided by first magnetic moment. Second magnetic moment is M. First magnetic moment is 3M. So M gets cancelled. So it is very clear that T1 is 1 by root 3 times T2. So here I don't think we have to find the exact ratio. We just have to compare. So it is very clear that from here to here, magnetic moment has decreased. No, here it was 3M. Now it is M. So magnetic moment has decreased. So time period has to increase. Matlab T2 should be greater than T1. This I have done so that if they ask the ratio, you should be able to calculate. Last question. Done. This one is done. No need to, again, for exam purpose, no need to draw diagrams and all. Just read and you will understand that, okay, if one of them is reversed, magnetic moment will decrease. If magnetic moment will decrease, time period will increase. All this is done so that you can understand easily. Now, the last question is based on magnetic shielding. How can you shield something from magnetic field lines? For protecting a sensitive equipment from external magnetic field. Now, same question we have done in the recorded video where NCERT exemplar question it was. So there we told we will use some box which is made of low relative permeability. Low relative permeability. Low relative permeability means it should behave more like diamagnetic material. Yeah, dia, correct. And if it is perfect dia, then it will repel the magnetic field lines. It will repel the magnetic field lines. So the inside, if you create some cavity, then it will not have any magnetic field. But if you look our options here, there is no mention of diamagnetic material. That is because there is another way. I was waiting for this question. That day I did not tell. There is another way of removing a certain space from magnetic field. So there is some region, let's say, there is this region. In this region, you don't want magnetic field, but there is magnetic field, something like this. I know it can't be perfectly straight, so something like this, okay? Closed loops, no, magnetic fields are closed. Then you can use something called, you can use a box which is made up of high permeability. High permeability. This also you can use high, but it should be very high permeability. So you cannot use para. You have to use ferro. That also iron would be very good choice. Then what happens is all these magnetic field lines will be concentrated here like this. Okay, like this they will go. Like this they will go. Like this. All of them will go like this. Don't draw. Just try to remember. So all of them will go like this. So if the, no, this is not Meissner effect. Meissner effect is for perfect diamagnetism. So if you look carefully, yes, we are repelling the magnetic field, but it is because this is ferromagnetic material. So the lines will be closer. So the magnetic field lines will try to go more wherever there is ferromagnetic material. So that way it is possible to remove magnetic field from a small region. I have a beautiful picture with me, students, showing this. I will share in the Google Classroom for all of you. Try to see the picture where they have used a box made of ferromagnetic material where the lines of magnetic field will always try to penetrate because it has high permeability. So you can use this kind of arrangement also to remove magnetic field. Now in JEE Advanced, if they give this also and the one that we did in recorded video, low permeability and high permeability both, then you have to tick both of them. But here, which option should be ticked? Not aluminum can placed inside an iron can. So option B, iron, because it is a ferromagnetic material. I will share the diagram. Of course, I will not be able to do perfectly, but I'll show the diagram where you will see very nicely how the lines are concentrated in a ferromagnetic material in the form of a box. Okay. So students, this chapter is over. Next chapter is called EMI. The full form of EMI is electromagnetic induction. Now I want all of you to concentrate nicely. All of you. Listen carefully. Till now, I have discussed this with one student actually. Till now, whatever we have done from the first chapter onwards, we feel like we have done everything about electricity, electrostatics, and magnetism. We feel like everything is done. Why? Look here. If there is charge, plus charge or minus charge, it doesn't matter. If there is charge in the surrounding space, what is produced? Quickly, static charge, electric field. Small e means, I hope electric field you guys are saying, okay. So there is electric field, right? So let us say electric field is this way. Electric field is this way, okay, at some point. Then what I do, I make a small surface. Small surface. That surface will have some area. And the area vector is taken perpendicular to the surface. So let's say this way. So this is small area. So let me write DA. And this small angle is theta. Then we can calculate the dot product of electric field with area. Anyone remembers what is the name given to this? This is called electric flux. Wonderful. Then what I do, I make more areas. Like this. So I try to form a closed surface. What surface? A closed surface. So I calculate this quantity for every part of this closed surface, for every part, and then I integrate. This is called your net electric flux. This is not Gauss law right now. This is not Gauss law. This is net electric flux. Then Gauss law says this is equal to whatever charge is inside divided by epsilon naught. So this is your Gauss law. Agree, right, everybody? And what this law says, if you look carefully, this law says electric field is produced by charges. Right? Electric field is produced by charges. Very good. Okay, now tell me, if you have a current carrying wire, matlab I allow this charge to move now, then what is produced? What is produced in the surrounding space? Magnetic field. So let us say magnetic field is this way. And I consider a small length, maybe this way. This length is dl bar. And then I take the dot product of B with dl bar. Unfortunately, students, no name is given to this. So we have to say it is the dot product of magnetic field with length vector. Which length vector? This small length vector. Then I continue to do this for a loop. So for every part of this loop, I take dot product of magnetic field and length vector. Then I add. That according to which law? Ampere's circuital law is equal to Ampere's circuital law. Superb, Nisarga. According to Ampere's circuital law, this is always equal to mu naught times current enclosed by the loop. So whatever this loop will have some area here. So the current should cross this area. So if this is the loop, this will be the area. So current should cross this area like this. Okay. Current enclosed. This was called your Ampere's circuital law. And what this formula says, if you look carefully, it says magnetic field is produced by current. Right? This formula is saying electric field is produced by charge. This formula is saying magnetic field is produced by current. Using this, students, we have found electric field due to line charge, due to spherical charge, due to sheet of charge. Similarly, using this, we have found magnetic field due to circular current. We have found magnetic field due to straight current. We have found magnetic field due to solenoid. We have found magnetic field due to toroid. So many things we have done already. So by using these two laws, by using the first law, we can find electric field due to different charges. By using Ampere's circuital law, we can find magnetic field due to different kinds of current distribution. Okay. Once we know electric field and magnetic field in a given region, we can find force on any charge. What formula will we use? QE plus QV bar cross V bar. What is this force called? Lorentz force. Wonderful. After knowing the force, you have to go to first PU now. Students, after knowing this much, you have to go to first PU. Why, sir? Because after finding the force, you will find acceleration. This is called what law? Newton's second law. See, so many people, Gauss law, Ampere's law, Lorentz force, Newton's second law. After finding acceleration, you can find everything about the moving charge. You can find the final velocity. After time t, you can find the displacement.
Of course, these formulas are used if acceleration is constant.
So basically, you can find everything about the moving charge. Where it is, matlab, what? How far it is. How far it is means what? Displacement. You can find how fast it is moving, matlab velocity, by knowing the acceleration. And how to know the acceleration? By knowing the force. How to know the force? By knowing the electric field and magnetic field on the moving charge. And how to find the electric field? Gauss law. How to find magnetic field? Ampere's law. Right? And if the distribution is not symmetrical, we can use Coulomb's law also here, and we can use Biot-Savart's law also here. Biot-Savart's law also we can use here, and here we can use Coulomb's law. So students, everything about the moving charge we can find. So we feel like you feel like electricity and magnetism should be completed, should be over in this chapter. But we will realize that we will need new laws. We will need what laws? New laws. And when are new laws needed? When are new laws needed? When people do new discoveries of certain experiments which you are not able to explain by the existing laws. And that is what Faraday did. Who did? Faraday.
So in this 10 minutes time,
let me explain to you what Faraday actually found.
So look here. If you take a circular coil and put a galvanometer.
Why, sir? So that we will know whether there is current or not.
So right now, what is the current in the circuit?
What is the current in the circuit right now? Two ampere, 1 ampere, positive, negative, 0, 30 ampere. How much? This is a current carrying circular wire. I have connected galvanometer to check what is the current flowing. So what is the current flowing right now?
It is obviously 0.
Now why current is 0?
Usually, when you want current in a closed circuit, what we do? EMF divided by total resistance.
EMF divided by total resistance.
Now EMF means you need a battery.
Yes or no? So EMF means you need a battery. Why? Because this battery will have what? This battery will have two rods. One rod will get oxidized, other rod will get reduced. I hope I'm correct. So one rod will have too much positive charge, one rod will have too much negative charge.
So there will be positive charge, negative charge.
That positive charge, negative charge. That positive charge, negative charge. No, EMF I'm talking, Tanuj, EMF.
So that positive charge, negative charge will create a electric field.
Why it will create electric field? Array, just now I told you electric field is produced by charges. So these rods in these electrodes in the battery will have positive charge and negative charge. So that will create electric field outside. And that electric field will drive the electrons in the wire.
Matlab every electron here will feel a force F equals to QE.
And because of the force, they will accelerate, they will drift, and they will give rise to current. Understood? But in this, there is no EMF. There is no EMF. There is no battery. There is no electric field to drive the charges. Agree or not? First, you tell me agree or not. There is no electric field here to drive the charges in the wire. Agree or not, all of you? Okay.
Now,
hold your breath, because what Faraday found was amazing.
What he found is
actually Faraday was driven by something called symmetry in nature. We believe that nature is symmetrical. So Faraday thought
current produces magnetic field
according to Ampere's circuital law or Biot-Savart's law. Current produces magnetic field, correct? So Faraday thought
magnetic field should produce current.
He thought like that. So what he did, he brought a magnet here. He brought a magnet. If you bring a magnet, there will be magnetic field. Right? Magnetic field lines will pass through this circuit, will pass through the circuit. So there will be magnetic field. So he thought if there is magnetic field in the circuit, there will be current. But he found there is no current. Understood? There is no current right now. But listen carefully. Every time he moved the magnet this way or this way, every time he moved the magnet this way or that way, there was a deflection in the needle. If you move this way, deflection was this side. If you move that way, deflection was this side. If there is deflection, it means there is what? Current. If there is deflection, it means there is current. But who is responsible to produce the current here? Somehow it is the change in the what? Magnetic field. Because when it was here, there was some magnetic field. When you bring it closer, magnetic field will change. No, don't go, Kirti, don't jump to those things right now. Don't bring your school concepts here. So when you move the magnet this way or that way, magnetic field has changed. So he made a law. Why it was made as a law? Because this cannot be explained by existing laws. Why it cannot be explained? Because where is the battery? If I ask you, who is driving the charges here? What is the answer you have? Is it electric field? Is there any electrostatic field? For electrostatic field, you need charges, you need battery. So there is no battery. So even without charges, even without electrostatic field, you are able to get current somehow, which we will explain, which we will understand in tomorrow's class. But the law he made was when magnetic field changes, current is produced in this closed circuit. If current is produced, there must be EMF in the closed circuit. So when B changes, EMF is produced. So this is what he realized. Second thing he realized was, we still have 4 minutes. Second thing he realized, this is the first thing he realized. The second thing he realized is, if you take a circuit like this and you apply constant magnetic field. Listen carefully. This is just introduction. From tomorrow we will start the specific laws. So if you apply constant magnetic field like this, and here there is a rod, and you put a galvanometer here. When you move the rod this way or this way, he found that this is deflecting. Matlab, when he is moving this rod, he is getting current in this circuit. He is getting current. That means what is changing here? Magnetic field is constant, I told. So what is changing? This area. Right? When the rod is here, this much area is in the magnetic field. When the rod is here, this much area will be in the magnetic field. So second discovery he did was, when area in magnetic field changes, again EMF is produced. The final discovery he made was, if you keep constant magnetic field, and you keep a constant area also constant. Okay, now if you, let me not show this one right now, let me just close it. Now you can see this area is constant, not like the previous example where I was able to change the area by moving the rod.
So here the area is constant, but if he rotates this, if he rotates
the coil in this magnetic field, then also he found there is current produced in the circuit.
So the third and the final
discovery was when
angle between what and what. When the coil is here, this is the area vector. When the coil will be here, this will be area vector. When the coil will be like this will be area vector. So when the angle between area vector and magnetic field vector changes, again EMF is produced.
So these are the three important discoveries which he made. First one, if he changes the magnetic field, how? Move the magnet near a coil, you will see the galvanometer deflects. Why it deflects? Tomorrow class we will study. But he observed that when he moves the magnet, the current is produced. Matlab EMF is produced. That means change in magnetic field. When he is moving the magnet, magnetic field is changing. So change in magnetic field is producing EMF. Second time, you don't change the magnetic field, but you change the area in the magnetic field. Then also EMF is produced. Third time, don't change the magnetic field, don't change the area also, only rotate the area. If you rotate the area vector will keep changing. So as the area vector changes, this angle between the area vector and the constant magnetic field, that angle will also keep changing. So when the angle changes, when the magnetic field changes, when the area vector changes, he found EMF is produced. Now, how can I make these three discoveries into one discovery? Which quantity will contain B also, area also, theta also? Which quantity will contain magnetic field also, area vector also, angle between area vector and magnetic field vector also? Which quantity? Which quantity will contain B also, A also, theta also? It is magnetic flux. It is magnetic flux. Why, sir? What was the formula for electric flux? EA cos theta. Remember what was the formula for electric flux? EA cos theta. So what is the formula for magnetic flux? BA cos theta. So basically the discovery made by Faraday, last statement, I will give you statements and all tomorrow, but just hear this part. The discovery made by Faraday was whenever magnetic flux changes, because when one of them will change, this will change, right? So when magnetic flux changes linked with a circuit, when magnetic flux passing through a circuit is changing, EMF will be produced in the circuit. Once EMF is produced, current will flow. But the good question is, who is pushing the charges? Who is driving the charges? That we will study tomorrow. Thank you. Any doubt if you have, you can unmute yourself and ask me. Any doubt regarding whatever I told? These things I will revise tomorrow. Obviously, you know that I will revise. But any doubt if you guys have, let me know. We will discuss it. Okay? Fine. Disha, very good, Disha. So these three things you remember. Tomorrow we will discuss in detail.